A few years ago, I had several junior high campers during a week of camp to ask me why in the world that I spoke so much about heaven. They noticed in the classes that we taught. They noticed in the worship that we sessions that we had. They noticed it at campfires that we frequently talked about heaven. I thought, really? Well, good. That's a good thing to talk about heaven, right? Really, what could be more important than where I'm going to spend eternity? I enjoy studying about heaven. I've always been enamored by it, and I want to continue learning more and more about it as I possibly can. Colossians 3 tells us that since you've been raised to new life with Christ, set your sights on the realities of heaven, where Christ sits in the place of honor of God's right hand. Think about these things of heaven, not the things of earth. You see, we are to set our hearts and our minds on things above. This is effectively saying constantly. This is to effectively say it's a good idea to constantly be seeking and thinking about heaven. Our feet are on earth, no doubt, but our minds and our hearts can be in heaven. Many people go an entire day or several days without a single thought about heaven. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. We should be thinking about it daily, moment by moment, in my humble opinion. Warren Wiersbe is credited with saying, and I quote, "For the Christian, heaven isn't simply a destination, it's a motivation." So, if you're convinced of the reality of heaven and you are looking forward to the reward of heaven that's prepared for you, that's laid up for you, that's reserved for you, won't that motivate you to serve the Lord faithfully? I sure hope so. So when you're thinking about heaven and seeking heaven, you'll be a heavenly minded person in the best sense of the term. When you're focused on heaven, you'll live the most fulfilling life on earth. When you're focused on heaven, you'll make the most lasting impact in this world and your life and those whom you impact. So think about heaven and think about heaven frequently. You got heaven on your mind?